I beat most of my addictions, or at least I'm very close to doing, and this is exactly how I did it. The biggest addiction I've had in my life, honestly, in terms of longest, is definitely a corn addiction. Now, if y'all know what that is, basically the corn hub, things like that, I'll get it, but I can't say it on YouTube because I'm not trying to get taken down or anything, and I'm trying to keep it family friendly and still tell you guys the truth. I first started watching it when I was about 9 years old. I heard of it from a couple classmates in school when I was in like about 4th grade. I know that's pretty crazy to hear, but yeah, that's the reality. People were talking about it, and so when I went home, I just looked it up, saw what it was about. This turned into something that I first learned into something that became an everyday habit from the ages of like 9 to 11. And then quarantine came around, I was about 12 years old, and you guys know how bad that was. So especially that was like every day, multiple times a day. And that honestly was one of the worst things that happened to me. After quarantine, I started to think that like, it didn't really affect me because I used to do it like once every couple of days or whatever, or once a day. And I thought that I was like living very regularly through doing that. But I also realized that the way I conversate with boys during that time period versus the way I conversate with girls was very different. I was more nervous around women, and I wondered why that was. And looking back at it, it was probably because the vision that was put in my head, or the way I saw women, was different because of what I was watching. So I used to like, I guess, think of them but above me or something of that nature. That's the bad thing about it as well. Women are just people too, and you shouldn't see them as anything else than that. They're people as well, so just conversate with them. They're just like you, they probably have similar interests. So that's one of the bad things about a corn addiction. What really opened my eyes to this was a couple weeks ago when I was at a party and I became drunk, and I was completely able to conversate with everyone. They're perfectly fine. That's when I realized that when I was by myself, like when I was sober, I was like nervous. So therefore I knew that something was wrong. And since I've stopped doing any of that, I've seen that I'm able to just talk to people regularly, not get nervous, nothing of that nature. And ever since I've stopped watching it, my life has only gotten better. I'm able to socialize, like I said, socialize with anyone. And that's one of the most important things when it comes to life, being able to socialize, because you'll meet some of the best people you ever met in your life. And another thing too, when you watch corn, every time you see a woman on social media dressed a certain way, or someone dressed in real life a certain way, you probably get really, really bad urges. And especially when you're able to detox your mind from those things, you're able to fully be within yourself and not just fall into urges and temptation all the time. And that's another important thing. Like reading the Bible and actually practicing what it preaches definitely helps, because when you're not stuck into lust, you actually see people for who they are, and that will also help you pick better partners, better people to talk to, better friends. Because a lot of reason why some dudes are messing with certain girls is because they're in a lot of lust, and that's a really bad place to be in the long term. Maybe short term, do what you want to do, but I wouldn't recommend it, because your character, that builds character throughout your lifetime. When you watch a lot of corn, you also have an unrealistic expectation of what women look like or act like, their body figure, things of that nature. When you stop watching it, you find beauty in girls that you may not have before, because personality matters more to you now, and not just an image in your head that you want to smash every single girl you see. The way I combated this, honestly, was not just to go cold turkey. And if you guys don't know what that means, that basically means just one day you completely stop all of it. Now, that works for some people. That didn't work for me, because obviously it ain't that easy for everybody. So what I did instead was, so originally I think it was about every day. So eventually you start every 2 days, then every 3 days, every 4 days, and then eventually you can make it to like a week without, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, etc. Once you get to about a month, it should start to feel like you don't even got that urge anymore, and you rather do it with somebody in person. I know that's pretty controversial, like before marriage and things of that nature, but I feel like that's better than just doing it by yourself, because you're not getting any benefit. You're lacking social skills, you're lacking confidence, and you're just sitting in your room getting instant pleasure. Another thing about that too, it also stops you from being motivated, because when you do all of that, you're losing testosterone, and that also stops you from working hard, staying on task. And if you're not staying on task, In the future, you're going to be cooked, and you do not want to be cooked. And another thing you want to do is fill your time with other things that stop you from doing this. So since I go to school 8 hours a day from 7 to 3, no, 8 to 3, whatever. After school, I started boxing now, so I have boxing practice. So by the time I come from boxing practice, I don't have the urge to do that, or I just don't want to do that because I already got the dopamine from boxing. I feel fulfilled. I don't need to go scroll through social media or watch videos and go pleasure myself. And another thing too, you can also set goals for yourself. Like, if I'm going to do anything of that nature, I at least want to be with somebody. Because if you can at least get with somebody, that means you have some at least decent social skills. And last thing I wanted to touch on about corn addiction as well, now that I actually gave you steps to how to fix it. Another thing too is that don't ever think that an addiction will stop just because you got with somebody. I just want to touch up on that a little bit more. Because even when I was in past relationships or things of that nature, I would still do it because I guess I was, that's how you know it's like a true addiction. So you want to fix that before you mess with somebody, because that doesn't make the person feel any better about themselves. And that's not beneficial for both of you guys, because you're still going to have a warped reality. And that's basically micro cheating. Some people consider it cheating as well. So you don't want that to be you. The second addiction, and honestly the worst addiction I've ever had in my life, was gambling. This started off at a time where I was desperate. I had no income, which was about 2023. I was about 15 years old. And I think this was right after my day trading account got like terminated because I was below age. So first thing I went to do is go to DraftKings. You know how they start you off with like $250 or whatever. But that's a bad addiction to get into, because not only does it affect your mental health, it affects everything about your life. Every single day when you wake up, you're going to be drained. You're going to be angry. You're going to be frustrated about you losing money or how you're going to get more money. And the thing about these apps, you going to keep continuing to gamble because your brain is feeding for that dopamine. So you're going to keep coming back, thinking you're going to get more and more. But that's not good. Even if you win, you should quit. And the reason why I'd rather have no money than to gamble is because even if you have no money, at least you have peace. Peace is more important than anything. That I know money can bring you peace, but getting money from gambling will not bring you peace, because you'll always want more and more. So that's what you shouldn't do. Combating this addiction was different than with the corn addiction, because this addiction, it doesn't directly technically affect you. It just affects your pockets. So what I did was detox my brain mentally from all the get rich quick schemes. Because you know when you go on social media and you see red pill things, and I'm not trying to use Andrew Tate, but Andrew Tate as an example, or others, they all make it seem like time is running out. And I also fell into this when I was about 15 years old. I wanted to get rich by like 20 years old, 18 years old. That is not, even though that is possible, but it's not realistic. You shouldn't get into that trap of trying to get rich as soon as possible, because there's more to life than just money. And this is where religion comes into a place as well. I'm not one to judge on your religion. I'm a Christian, whatever you are. I'm pretty sure every religion, they teach you to not be greedy. Greed is important because greed is what leads you to gamble. Sometimes it's not even just about the money. You want that dopamine rush from even attempting to make money. That's what you're looking for. So what you want to do is not chase money, but let money come to you. And I'm not just saying that to say that. What I mean by letting money come to you is build a skill, a true skill, like a career or whatever, that will give you money in the future that will last you your entire life. Think about get rich quick things. Even if you get money gambling or you get money day trading, that is not a sustainable career for most people. I know y'all might say the 1%, but that is not going to be you realistically. And you don't want to live a life of just day trading and gambling all the time, because it's not passive income. You will always have to work for it. You want to get to the point where you eventually do not have to work. And the thing is, you have to realize that most teenagers are also broke. So don't feel bad for being broke, because this is just temporary. You don't know where you're going to be in the next 10 years. So that's why you should strive for a career that will eventually make a lot of money. I personally think about aviation. I know that's a high paying thing, but it's also hard to get into. And that's why you should work on your skills. Take school seriously. Don't be the type of people, I don't want to go to school, I don't want to do that, this, that, and the third. Unless you have a real plan outside of school, make sure that you're focused and school, because that's one of the most important things. Education is important. You're not even just learning in school, just learning valuable things that will help you in the future. And I also recommend meditation, relaxation, just calm down, get a journal, write down the things about your life. Anything but to chase another dopamine hit from these addictions. If you write down if you write down what happens throughout your day, what you're trying to accomplish, that will give you dopamine. And I know that's also kind of bad because people say you shouldn't like say the goal before it happens or work towards it. But at least it's better than getting dopamine from those things. And as well as talking to people, be honest with people in your addiction. Don't try to hide it, because the more you try to hide it and lie, the worse it's just going to be for you. People can notice, but they may not say anything because they don't want to hurt your feelings. Or maybe you're good at lying and hiding it, which is a bad thing as well. You do not want to be that type of person. So just be honest with people. Take the time to slowly stop doing that action and work on yourself and become the best version of yourself. I'm praying for you guys. I wish the best for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and comment for more videos from me. Izzy Knockout. See you on the next one. Peace out.